Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AIM Impact on Your Health. AIM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AIM Impact on Your Health is heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AIM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today is a Friday show. It will become a get 'em up out of town version of the show. We, of course, first will give you a Boresha report. We're really behind this company and the drinks, the unique drinks and the sugar substitute that they offer. And we keep on tracking how well the company is doing, where it may be in your backyard, that you can sort of do a tasting of the Boresha line on us. And, of course, give you an opportunity, if you can't even wait that long, to get the Boresha available in your own home as soon as possible. So Dr. Angela Mitzos will be with us right off the chute, right out of the chute in the morning here, about 10 after the hour. And then when we take a break after Dr. Mitzos, we'll open it up to you. Now, I got a couple things on my plate. We launch, might as well be talking about the scheduling now, on Monday. I'm going to have an interesting afternoon at 3 o'clock. I do a pre-recorded show simply because the gentleman I'm recording is in Wasilla, Alaska. 6 to 7 hour time difference. I'm not really sure which one. He's sure, however. And we'll tape that show this afternoon, and we'll bring it to you on Monday morning. We should entitle the whole doggone thing as LDA Part 2. See what I mean by that? We've been doing Part 1 now since November of 2012, but there is a paradigm shift even within the 90 doctors who do LDAs throughout the country. Seems there's a new leader out there. His name is Dr. Ty Vincent. He is our guest. We are going to be talking about LDA on Monday. Hope you enjoy that show. Then on Wednesday, you can recall maybe back in August, we launched a program held on Saturday mornings called TLS. And it was designed to help those people who have weight issues, those that really wanted to lose weight, and also designed, especially for me, by patients who are having difficulty with carbohydrates, reflected in their lab work, and most specifically in a lab test called hemoglobin A1C. Saw some pretty high numbers there, and that's not a good sign. So these folks attended a class called TLS, that's Transitions Lifestyle Systems, held by Panda Szymanski out here at Dr. Tyson Swaggert's office right at the South Point exit every Saturday for 10 weeks. They've just completed their 10 weeks. They are excited, they're ecstatic, and want to come to you and tell you how well they did. I think it's very appropriate to spend some time. Let's just find out from them how they felt this program worked for them. And we're going to do that next Wednesday, where we'll bring Patty Szymanski on the show. We'll try to get Dr. Tyson Swaggart. We'll also get many of those who took that 10-day program and get their perspective on how that all went. And of course, we'll give you some supporting information on how successful it was for them, but in keeping with a next launch program. Going to start January 10th. Now, December is not any time to be talking about weight losses or anything of this nature, but for those of you who set that New Year's resolution, this may be the thing to order for you. Let's find out how the last group did and get lined up for those who want to be a part of the next group. Then on the 15th, which is 2 Mondays from now, Shannon Goosen comes back. She is the go-to person with FSM, another new launching here, a new paradigm shift in my office. frequency-specific microcurrent is going to play a large role in what happens in this practice because it's such a wonderful tool in helping correct problems that heretofore have not had a correction. Shannon Gosen is going to be our guest. We launch a program called Second Call that begins on January 1. You're going to want to hear all about it. So that's the schedule as I see it right now. After we take that break after Dr. Mitzos, then we'll want to bring a couple things to your attention. Of course, the issue of flu vaccine is hitting the newspapers and the media. They screwed up, folks. They guessed wrong, and it's not very effective this year. I don't even know what effective means, but when the CDC is telling you, we got a problem, we guessed wrong, and so those of you out there that get the flu, you better be heading to your doctors because the flu vaccine went bust for us. And a special note about Ebola. It has been cured. One cured case of full-blown edema you won't believe. I alluded to this about a week ago when I first got this email. I looked at it again last night. We got to talk about Dr. Rowan and Harold Robbins, who are over to Sierra Leone, and they have a full-blown case of Ebola corrected in 5 days. You'll love to hear about this. And then also to talk about carao. Carao is that Costa Rican fruit. The carao tree. It's not a plant. It's a tree. Large fruit grow on this tree. The tree only grows wild. And last month at the Freedom of Choice in Cancer Therapy group, we had the gentleman who raises. Oh, he doesn't really raise. He harvests and extracts. These trees grow wild, but they have one heck of a medicinal benefit to them. And we've been stocking and carrying carao for individuals who are having issues with weight loss as well as blood dyscrasias. I guess the typical patient that really can benefit from carao is one that may be involved with chemotherapy now, such a devastation on the immune system in general, but in particular the entire bloodline. These people have low blood counts because of the chemotherapy that they've subjected themselves to. Nothing seems to really take care of that. Carao has worked magnificently in this respect. So we'll talk about carao. We'll talk about the viruses, common flu, and of all things, Ebola, and get ready for my afternoon encounter with Ty Vincent that I'm bringing to you on Monday morning. LDA Part 2 begins on Monday morning. You'll want to be a part of it. Don't miss. Okay, let's take a short break. In the interim, we're going to connect with our good friend Dr. Angela Mitzos. We do a Boresha report here. We let you know what the status of these drinks are, where you can get them, how you can get them, and anything new that's out of the company. This guy knows. He's got the pulse on this particular company and this line of products. We'll have him report to you in just a moment. Be right back with Dr. Angelo Mitzos.
You become confused.
He's waiting. Okay.
No wonder.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Friday morning version of the show. Become traditional around here that, yes, we're going to open them up to you. It's going to take a different look in the next about 15 or 20 minutes or so, but we try to bring you up to speed with an interesting company with an interesting line of products. The company is known as Boresha. The products are now famous. A coffee, let alone organic coffee, a tea, and a lemonade that just tastes so good, but yet is extremely healthy and does things that no other drinks can do for you. Also, make an interesting and very healthy sweetener from all natural sources. Can't be found anyplace else. Our go-to person on this particular subject, you've now come to really appreciate him. His name is Dr. Angelo Mitzos. He's from Newcastle, a podiatrist, a very accomplished one, but he's been behind the Boresha line for 5 years. I just got on board here this past summer. We go to him now and say, good morning, Dr. Angelo Mitzos. Thanks for coming aboard for the Boresha Report this week.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Courtney. It's good to be back.
Well, you know, it's been some time. We were talking off the air. It's at least 3 or 4 weeks since we had even the ability to have a live Boresha Report with you involved. And whenever 3 or 4 weeks goes by with this company, that's mounds of changes and mounds of new things that have come up. And so if there ever was a need for a Boresha Report to let our listeners know what's going on with the company, I'm going to guess we've missed a lot. Tell us.
Well, there's always something going on. But if you remember that busy weekend when we were at the Carnegie Science Center and then we were at the Strip District with the Farm to Table, the morning of that Sunday, I had the pleasure of meeting a nice group. We were referred by Dr. David Spear, a very nice church in Lawrenceville. And one of the things we haven't talked about yet with Boresha, you know, these products, not only are they super healthy and assist people with weight management, but they actually can be used as a fundraiser for churches, for clubs, for organizations, you know, a school band, cheerleading squad, where they have the ability to obviously get the products at wholesale, and then they can retail them and introduce their group or organization to the products. The great thing about it, Dr. Courtney, is when someone starts consuming the coffee and they see the results, they're going to do it on a regular daily basis, as opposed to, you know, when an organization has to sell hoagies or they have a bake sale. They do it once and
it's once.
The project is finished. One
and done.
Yeah. These products, of course, are highly consumable. We need them on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, people essentially have a healthy addiction. You know, we have addiction to things that are bad for us. Here we can have a healthy addiction. But we're following up with that church, and they're excited. In addition, a week from tomorrow, we had the pleasure of meeting the president of the Filipino American Association of Pittsburgh, very nice woman named Theodora, and she invited us to bring the products, and we're going to have them at their annual Christmas event on Saturday, December 13th at 7 p.m., and that's going to take place at the Bethel Park Community Center.
It's my backyard.
American Association of Pittsburgh, and as you know, Boresha is, as we speak, they're getting ready to ship their products to the Philippines. You know, very exciting for the company. Now, the other thing you just mentioned about TLS, you know, the average American gains a few pounds between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and certainly the number one New Year's resolution is to lose weight or join a health club. You know, when we see people joining health clubs in January, statistics show that they only stick with it for maybe 2 to 3 months. But because it's very difficult to control weight simply by exercising. So these products, the Boresha coffee, the organic coffee, burns fat even when we're sitting down. So that's very exciting. Boresha's #1 distributor and Pittsburgh native Joe Giuliano will come back to this area in January, and we'll lock down a specific date. And then the company will have its national event again in 2015, and that is scheduled for Orlando in March, and we'll get the specifics on that as well. But a lot of things happening. You know, we slowed down a little bit during the holidays, but it's a good time to meet family members and friends and share the product.
Now, I always have new listeners, and of course, a steady group of older ones. But could you bring us up to speed? We keep talking about the products. These products are quite unique. They're quite tasty. Tell our listeners, maybe some of who are listening for the first time, what's all the fuss about? What the heck are the Boresha products that got everybody so worked up?
Well, they're all natural, and they're absolutely delicious, and they have the ability to burn fat. They're thermogenic. They can burn fat. They're low glycemic, which is very, very important. As we go into grocery stores and, there's really not a whole lot of selection, especially in terms of beverages. Most good tasting beverages are going to have sugar, or, of course, what's even worse than sugar would be the high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners. So these products are all natural. They're low glycemic. They control hunger, and they combat stress-related eating. So that's very important because it's extremely weight management becomes extremely difficult if we're consuming high glycemic products that make us hungry, and we're in this vicious cycle. In addition, they do not release a cephalic response, which is a big problem as well. We can see that the obesity epidemic has been exacerbated by diet products, sugar-free products, and artificial sweeteners. Very few people know that those three things elicit a cephalic response, which means that when we consume these products, even though they have 0 calories and 0 carbohydrates, because of their high degree of sweetness, a signal is sent to the brain. That's the cephalic response, and there's a chemical cascade where the hormone insulin is released. Insulin is a fat-storing hormone, and the problem is much worse when we think that going with a diet product is going to help us, but in fact, it makes things worse.
Yeah, that little fact right there is what I first learned it from the Boresha scientists, and it made such intuitive sense that they explained it. But there's never even a hint of a cephalic response by any other company because they know their products that the people enjoy because of their sweetness actually put on more weight they can never take off. It's what a conundrum to put people in that position, and they certainly aren't going to mention anything about a cephalic response. Boresha has, because Boresha blunts that response so that when these items are sweet, by the way, they're also tart. It's a neat combination, I think, but they don't elicit that cephalic response. Therefore, you truly get low carb, low glycemic, and it's very nice taste, without any release of hormones, especially insulin, the dastardly hormone that sets you up as though, as I like to say, you've just consumed a bowl of spaghetti when you've finished a Diet Coke. Wow, what a payoff!
Oh, absolutely, and we're usually drinking something anyway. Why not drink something that is absolutely delicious? It's going to control the hunger, and then it's going to burn fat. It's just a tremendous combination.
Now, for those who are out there, there appears like a couple places they can have these tastings, but some people geographically, that none of these things you just announced with the Filipino group there in Bethel Park and so on and so forth is in their backyard, and they don't want to wait for the thing to come to their backyard. They may want to wait, but if those don't, how do they get these products?
Well, I listened to Sister Sarah a couple of weeks ago. Boy, she did a tremendous.
Yeah, she was great.
That's up big time.
Yeah, she was great. So I mean, we help those of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, who want to get involved with Boresha. Obviously, you can do this online yourself, but we have a group of people that aren't comfortable working with computers. In fact, don't even, in many cases, have a computer, and doing things online for them is just a panic. So I mentioned, as you should already know, Sister Sarah here in our office will help any of those out there who want to get these Boresha products and don't necessarily feel comfortable in doing anything online themselves. Sister Sarah will give you a hand just by giving us a call here, 724-942-3002. There's even an old paper way. I mean, we call that old. It's the way things were done for like hundreds of years. But people are comfortable with filling out a form, we have those forms. Sister Sarah will help get one to you. Or if you are computer savvy, just head. I think an easy thing to do is go to an oddly a website that doesn't appear to make sense for a moment. That's PittsburghIProtocol.com. And the reason I'm sending you there is that on the opening page at the top, there's a banner that says products. Click on the product icon, and it takes you to all the products that I recommend. But right at the top, the very first, is Boresha International. When you click on that, now you can move through learning more about Boresha. And when it prompts you to join, click on the join now and just keep following the prompts. It'll take you to the point where you'll be able to just enroll. Within about 5 minutes is all it takes, and you can start getting those products delivered directly to you, and at a retail price if you choose to, but a wholesale price with a little bit of an investment, $49 I think that investment is. Have I said this right so far? Is everything
Absolutely, Dr. Courtney.
pretty accurate?
That Sarah is very nice in doing and helping everybody. She was talking about she will even mail out some free samples.
Oh yeah, we have every month we get replenished. It's about time to do it again, and we give out so many samples here. So if you want to stop in and like to try something, we'll give you some samples to take home with you so that you can experiment. We would hate to have you try something without you really trying it, and we'll give you the opportunity to try it. I think you'll agree that these are special, and that coffee, the first product, the signature product, is properly placed at the head of the Boresha list. Organic coffee that's thermogenic. Drink it, and you burn fat. What a country! Unbelievable.
It's great, and again, all the folks have to do is just give us a call, and we'll walk them through it step by step.
Now you mentioned to me, and we might as well, because we don't hold back anything here. There's some up and coming major events. You mentioned something going on in Orlando. I don't know anything about it. Joe Giuliano, who's the #1 distributor, or what's he called, upliner? I don't know. Joe Giuliano from Indiana, who comes to Pittsburgh. Talk to us about these bigger events that are up and coming as we make the page and turn the page on the new year.
Well, you know, Boresha is such a young company, and we still have the ability to connect with the top people. We can literally call them and talk to these people. You know, you had the owner of the company, George Najjar, on your program, and then came and met you face to face at the Crown Plaza. And so we're looking for leaders to advance the company nationally and internationally. So Joe, being from Pittsburgh, of course, when he comes here, he gets to visit his sister, his family. So he's going to be back in January, and we're going to have a larger presentation so people can not only sample the product, but get an idea of the opportunity as well. The national meeting in Orlando is where we come together with the scientists, the top corporate people, the legal people, people that are expanding in the Philippines. We get to meet all together, exchange ideas, and see how big this really is. So we certainly want to meet people face to face so that they see that this is a very credible opportunity, and it's being run by very, very good people.
So we don't know where Joe's going to come and where they're going to have a larger event. We just know it's going to happen in January. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think we're probably going to be back at the Crown Plaza for the South Hills people, and I think Joe wants to stay over and maybe do something up in the Butler area with Dr. Lori Lang.
Lori, she's hot. She's moving. She really is a great representative of the Boresha line up there in Butler, especially at her new office. So gorgeous. What a backdrop. It's good surroundings, and Dr. Lori will be very much involved with Boresha as we turn the page into 2015. So
absolutely, we're excited, Dr. Courtney, and we thank you for your voice and your leadership, and we look forward to big things in 2015.
Well, we all look forward to them too. Get over this holiday. Everybody's going into we hope, a very festive occasion, and we want to continue those festivities as we turn the page on the new year. Boresha will be turning that page, and we'll keep our listeners informed. As you begin to show where these tastings are going to be and where people are going to meet, we'll be bringing you back on Fridays to continually update my listeners on what we've come to be known as the Boresha report. Okay?
Hey, thank you very much, Dr. Courtney.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mitsos. There you have it. The Boresha report. It's been a while since we talked to Angelo, and look, a lot's happened. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we, as we normally say around here, are going to switch some gears. We're going to move and open them up to you for anything you'd like to talk about. Anything on your mind is okay with me. The number to do that, as you should know by now, is to dial us up at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I got some things on my plate. What's on yours? How about sharing it with us? Be right back. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on the Friday morning version of the show. We've just turned it over to Get 'em Up Out of Town version of the show, where you can come on in at any moment and set the agenda as you see it just by dialing us up at 412-825-6262. Anything on your mind is okay with me. Question, comment, any form of communication. It's all appreciated here. Our listeners, we end up sharing so much with them. And if the spirit moves you, give us that dial up at 412-825-6262. I heard that knock on the door, and I will let you in the store. Now, big front page stuff with multiple columns. Flu shots useful in about half of the cases. I may even question the other half where they're supposedly useful, but why get into that right now? Let's just talk about the reality of where we find ourselves with this flu vaccine this year. Of course, each and every year, and you probably heard me talk about this annually, they have to guess sometime in the summer, have to guess what flu bugs they think, what viruses are going to be coming around when flu season begins. And then they start manufacturing the flu vaccines based on their guesses. Now, there have been years where they have claimed that they guess pretty good. By the way, that doesn't happen too often, but there have been those years where they have guessed pretty good according to them, and they've been successful in terms of diminishing the severity of the disease, I guess, at best. I'm not going to question it right now. Let's let that go. We'll let that statement go. But the point I want to emphasize today is this year they screwed up. Okay, this is one of those years where they guessed wrong, and they're saying that the way they guessed, they're only able to help in about half of the cases of flu, and they're getting ready because if this flu supposedly is going to strike people and they're going to manifest their symptoms in a much more profound way, especially people who have previously existing diseases, and our elderly, there's going to be quite a consequence for them if they're struck with flu. And so a couple of quotes will allow me to get to really the reason why I'm bringing it up. They go, this is coming from one of the public health docs. When you have a mismatch with the vaccine, people are going to get infected. That's what I mean by not guessing right this year. It's going to be much more important to make sure people are getting, here it comes, antiviral therapy. Now that little term, antiviral therapy, usually is a tripwire for me because, to be quite honest, I don't know what they're talking about. The antiviral therapies that we have are almost embarrassing. When you read the product inserts from things like acyclovir and others of the VIR at the end, VIR at the end is usually this class of medicines that are very expensive. And when you read the product insert and you get to read things that sort of say, look, if you do this expensive antiviral, you have the possibility of shortening the disease by 24 to 48 hours. That's when it works, okay? And you have the possibility. Now, there's not necessarily any benefit that you have to get, but you just can have the possibility of shortening this by 24 to 48 hours, which to me doesn't really seem like a treatment at all. In fact, when presented with accurate information from people who ought to know, they compare the benefit of chicken soup made by your mom as easily able to do better and to do more than the very antivirals that cost so much money to use. So this antiviral therapy is a bit of a laugher because there is no antiviral therapy. There's fluid therapy. There's maintenance for antipyretics. There's things that you can do while you wait it out. You wait out the virus running the full course, and when it's decided that it's done, then you are going to get your symptoms to improve, not based on any help coming from the medical profession with respect to the virus. Now, there's a corollary here because Ebola is a virus. And we have gone through, haven't heard much of it now. I got a feeling we'll be hearing more about it. But we just went through a period where for about 3 or 4 weeks, Ebola was in the news every day. People were being shipped over here who had recent outbreaks of Ebola. And then there are some people that came back from West Africa that were quarantined. That raised the ire and dander of a number of people. And but things are quieted down now. But the point I want to mention is this phrase that I just quoted from, this is the Pittsburgh Tribune today about it's going to be much more important to make sure people are getting, here's the quote, antiviral therapy, sort of struck me as the same kind of quote that I'm getting when it comes to Ebola. Because I've heard statements from people in charge that said, oh, we want to be able to institute treatment for Ebola, get them here and treat them so that we can cure them. And in actuality, that same slam, the same criticism that can be lobbied against people who get the flu and can't really expect any benefit from antiviral therapy for flus, you better believe the same thing occurs when it comes to Ebola. There is no antiviral therapy. There's only fluid therapy. And then, of course, in Ebola, fluid loss through all body secretions is meteoric. Diarrhea and sputum and urine and other body fluids, just copious amounts of loss, bleeding through various portals of exit also is common. So fluid resuscitation is probably the biggest thing that we do better than anybody else. And if they can keep up with the fluids that are being lost through all these routes of exit, while they wait, and here's the antiviral part, while they wait for the virus to move along at its own clip of moving through all of its stages until it's done, and they can keep up with the fluid loss, they have a chance to get this person through. But there is no, get this straight, in the conventional model, there is no antiviral. There is none. And that's a pretty tough thing to hear from, you figure, well, medicine should be able to handle anything. What they can't do is take care of viruses. Now, I say all that because I bring to you a very interesting thing that just has happened in the last month that I got to share with you. I did it once before, but I'm bringing it again because I actually have the letter in my hand. As you should have known, because I have announced it on air a couple of times, Dr. Robert Rowan, a well-known physician in the United States, personal friend of mine, he is very familiar because if you've ever read his newsletter called Second Opinion that he has authored for a long time, recently he's given that authorship up to Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I think it's pretty interesting. But Dr. Rowan's a very well-known entity. Many of you out there who listen to me certainly know of him and know of his newsletter. Well, Dr. Rowan and a Dr. Harold Robbins from New York, actually from Manhattan, went over to Sierra Leone at the invitation of the president of Sierra Leone to try to teach the doctors over there how to treat viruses, in particular Ebola, with ozone therapy. Ozone. And if you've been listening to this show, ozone has occupied a pretty prominent role in our office since April of 2013 when we became a member of the FDA-supported IRB, that's Institutional Review Board, and ozone is used by me every single day and very effectively. And so we know that ozone, especially when it's teamed up with ultraviolet blood irradiation, these two therapies go hand in hand, is able to just kill any organism that moves, including viruses. This truly is an antiviral approach that works. And we've been watching it work very nicely for whatever microbial infection happens to present here at the office. Ozone and ultraviolet blood irradiation as a combination are very effective with eradicating and literally ending the course of the bugs. So it's a true antiviral. But nowhere have we had the opportunity, because it just doesn't present, not even here, but anywhere in the world, to treat Ebola with that double whammy combination. Well, that was until Dr. Rowan and Dr. Robbins went over to Sierra Leone. Their intention was to train doctors who go out into the various, rural regions and man the clinics that are actually treating these Ebola patients. And their intention was to train these doctors how to use ozone therapy, combining them with ultraviolet blood irradiation in order to find out what we theoretically thought should be possible. Ebola is just a virus. It's no more lethal than the common flu virus in terms of a resistance to a correct antiviral, because the antivirals that we have are not. They don't work. Chicken soup works. Acyclovir doesn't. Acyclovir costs hundreds of dollars. Anyway, I got this letter. It was a press release, and it's entitled "Rapid Ebola Infection Cure." I share it with you. We'll get Dr. Rowan, who's probably now back in the United States. If not, he's probably on his way over from Sierra Leone. But let me share with you some of the highlights of this one-page press release. It goes something like this. Drs. Robert Rowan of Santa Rosa, California, and Harold Robbins of New York City announced the first cure. You heard that right. The first cure of the Ebola infection in the world with a safe treatment costing less than $40. That's US dollars. On Friday, November 14th, that was not too long ago, A physician at an Ebola treatment center in Sierra Leone in West Africa accidentally stabbed himself with an Ebola-contaminated needle. By the way, needle sticks, accidental needle sticks, are where a lot of bloodborne infections are passed. And this unfortunate physician stuck himself with a needle that was being used to treat Ebola patients. The press release goes on. This doctor had been recently trained in the Rowan Robbins Ebola treatment protocol, which uses the specific Robbins method of direct intravenous infusion of ozone. Upon the emergence of symptoms 2 days later, on Sunday, November 16th, he called Kojo Kuru, MD of Freetown, Sierra Leone. The physician, the one that stuck himself, 2 days after he stuck himself, called Dr. Kuru, the guy that heads the treatment program. Dr. Kuru is the physician in charge of maintaining the program and equipment supplies brought and taught by Rowan and Robbins, who came to Sierra Leone to teach the protocol at the invitation of President Ernest Bai, B-A-I, Koroma, K-O-R-O-M-A, in October 2014. The infected doctor did not return to work on Monday, November 17th, which became the first day of treatment. Dr. Rowan was informed of the needle stick on Sunday, November 16th, but was not advised that symptoms had yet developed. Rowan sent back instructions to treat that doctor preventatively and immediately with the protocol, believing that the exposed doctor to be at great risk for symptoms to develop within 5 days. Dr. Robbins, informed shortly after, concurred with the preventative protocol and urgency of treatment. Here's the point. Unbeknownst to Dr. Rowan, symptoms did develop on day 2, which was on Sunday. The doctor reported high fever, loss of appetite, abdominal distress, and significant fatigue, which symptoms were rapidly progressing. They are classic signs of Ebola. Treatment began the 3rd day after the needle stick. Here's the point. After just 2 days of treatment, that's by November 18th, all symptoms were gone. I want to say that again. After just 2 days of treatment with ozone, all treatments were gone. The doctor chose not to get an Ebola blood test at that time. Why? A positive test would have mandated forced confinement in an Ebola treatment center where he would have been denied ozone therapy. He believed this would likely have cost him his life, and the best clinics in Sierra Leone have a 60% death rate. Rowan and Robbins did not want to wait for a positive test, which can take several days to occur, believing the earlier this life-threatening viral infection is aggressively treated, the higher the chances of recovery. So, today, November 22nd, Dr. X is in apparently good health, completely symptom-free. The other aspects of the treatment protocol are using vitamin C and glutathione and so on and so forth. And there you have the first reported case of curing Ebola in an active case. Rowan didn't even know that the doctor had Ebola. He just thought he got a needle stick, and that's not necessarily translating into getting the disease. But 2 days later, and he was not informed of this, the symptoms actually did develop. Full-blown Ebola was in play when this doctor received that treatment, and the Ebola was cured. And you will never, ever hear about it. I guarantee you, our government, I don't believe, is going to be clapping in the background saying how wonderful that is that Dr. Rowan and Dr. Harold Robbins went over there. Isn't that just great? You won't hear about it. I'll bring Dr. Rowan on the show. We'll talk more about this. But I'll close off the discussion of this in this way. This is a letter sent to Dr. Rowan by Dr. Michael Morlai Kamara. And it goes like this. On behalf of the doctors, nurses, and the entire people of Sierra Leone, I would like to express our sincere thanks and appreciation for the knowledge and inspiration you have impacted in us. I want to assure you that we will do our very best to implement all that you taught us. You will always be remembered for what you have done for Sierra Leone. We just pray and hope that the authorities in our country will embrace and implement this oxidative therapy. Thanks so much. My warmest greetings to your wife and children. Best regards, Dr. Michael Morlai Kamara. And that's the last correspondence that I've received from Dr. Rowan on the subject. And we'll get, I'm trying to get the date, that October. I don't have an actual date on that one. I have times, but not the date. Anyway, so viruses can be treated. Ebola is just another virus, no different than any other virus. It's just that the symptom complex that develops from Ebola is so pervasive in terms of creating a condition that the body just can't keep up. Persons die from the fluid shifts and fluid losses, and in our country we have an excellent ability to attempt to keep up with them, and even at that we've lost a couple of people, but we do not have an antiviral. And this thing about getting adequate treatment, which was mentioned in the Tribune Review, if you should happen to get the flu, antiviral therapy is a laugher. There is, in my opinion, no antiviral therapy. There is only a therapy for fluids and other body functions while you wait for the virus to run its course, and that's how viruses are treated here. You let them run their course. But with ozone therapies, there's a way to, in what, 2 days? In 2 days, the man better. Okay. I'm climbing down off of the soapbox. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, I open it up to you. If you want to comment on the Ebola treatment, that's great. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left to go. I thought I'd share that with you today. Be right back in a moment and open it up to you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back once again to AIM Impact on Your Health. Here a Friday morning, get them up out of town version of the show. I know I dominated a lot of the discussion today. If you want to come on in here, give us a call at 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. We'll listen for that knock on the door. We'll try to get your questions answered quickly. Had to share the press release. I think it's just a big, big thing. It certainly doesn't even surprise me that it's possible through the use of ozone therapy to eradicate just another virus. Admittedly, this virus with some terrible consequences when it's allowed to run its course. And that's just it. It runs its course, and people succumb to these giant fluid shifts. But I'll get a hold of Dr. Rowe or try to bring him on the show and let him share with you his personal experience over there in Sierra Leone with Dr. Robbins, and maybe he has some more updates on other people who have been rescued, and I promise to bring that to you and up and coming. We're in the gun lap of the show, just coming around that final home stretch. The number to get on in here is 412-825-6262. Wanted to just make another comment about the TLS program coming up. You know, we move into the holiday season, and now that we're in December, and the Transitions Lifestyle System program, where there are about 10 to 15 people involved in the program, and they are completely done with the 10 weeks. You know, it has met at least every Saturday morning for an hour, and these people have reached their goals. If their intention, and some of these individuals who participated in the program did so, they wanted to lose weight. Others, many of them sent by me, because as we were discussing their carbohydrate issues, we noticed that their hemoglobin A1C was completely out of kilter, and they really were in a dangerous position. If they didn't get their carbohydrates under control, they ran the risk of having some serious complications develop as time moved on, and becoming full-blown diabetics, which I don't think is a transition that anybody really would ever want to happen. And they were bound for it. They were on their way. Many of them, actually, to be quite honest with you, had already crossed over a line and could easily have been called a diabetic, but had not been. And now it appears like they've retrieved themselves. They're stepped back onto the line on the healthy side, and they're doing quite well. So next Wednesday's show with Patty Szymanski, who was the instructor, great things about her. I'll let her talk about how she looked after her little flock there. I see that I got a letter from one of the participants. Just a couple things I'll share with you. He was nice enough to drop this off on my desk when he said, I was a rather different kind of student at the TLS class. While most people in the class wanted to lose weight, I did not. But because of previous medical conditions, my goal in taking this course was to modify my lifestyle. He's an ex-teacher, taught for 45 years, and said that the instruction was amazing, and he was glad to be a participant. Through my experiences, he goes on to say, as a retired science teacher of 45 years, I know how important it is for students to have a good teacher. Patty Szymanski is an excellent teacher. We used to say in education, your students may not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Nice little adage there. Patty cares. You would sense that right away. Just nothing but great things come out of his little writing and left in my desk. We'll find out personally and straight up on Wednesday from all those that want to share. We'll try to get that lined up so that they can share their testimonial with you. And why are we doing this? Well, back in August, I made a big fuss about the program. I thought it was an excellent opportunity. At least it looked like so on paper. It's so nice to see that what was envisioned has actually happened. And getting people ready for the next group that starts on January 10th is probably the biggest reason of all. If you, as you emerge from the month of December into the new year, already know, I'd love to have a part to play. I'd love to have a place to go to get my issues dealt with respect to either carbohydrate control or weight loss. The TLS program is going to start another 10-week session, another 10-week group of sessions starting on Saturday, January 10th. If you think you'd like to be involved with it or learn more about it, why don't you give us a call here at 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002. Talk to Sister Sarah. She'll get you lined up and ready to enroll. And there's a small fee involved. I think that you get so much for it. There's a book that's included in a journal and the like. And I'm going to find out how helpful that book was and listen to some of the excerpts from the journals on next Wednesday's show. Don't miss Monday. Our good friend, Dr. Ty Vincent. You haven't met him yet, but I think you'll agree on Monday. He is a cut above most doctors. Interestingly enough, he spends 2 weeks a month in Wasilla, Alaska, and another 2 weeks a month in the Kona coast of Hawaii, the big island of Hawaii. He flips back and forth from one to another. I think he's got it kind of right, the happy medium in between. Hot to cold, cold to hot. Dr. Ty Vincent is going to be our guest, and he will light up the place. Nothing but heat spills off of this guy. A lot of energy, and we turned the page on LDA 1, which was pretty much the program put together by Dr. Butch Schrader, the godfather of LDA here in the United States. But we're turning the page to type 2 of LDA with Ty Vincent. All right. Perfect crescendo moment, as Bill is letting me know our time has expired today. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Be with us on Monday for Dr. Vincent. Until then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney saying so long for AIM Impact on Your Health.